Let's see. All right, we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Cageside Press. This is our best of 2025 MMA. We'll call it MMA Awards show. Why not? Everyone's doing them today. We figured, screw it. We got time. Let's do it. Let's
I
get to
know.
it. And so, I'm Eddie Law. That's Gabriel Gonzalez, ladies and gentlemen. Our lead correspondent, of course, on this side right here. And we're bringing it to you in the first week of 2026. This is the first Monday of 2026. So there you go.
Yep.
Hopefully,
First work day, so we're back. How about that?
that's the worst though, because like you get through Thanksgiving and like Christmas season, holiday season, and you get those breaks and everything. Getting back into routine is such a pain in the ass, dude.
To me, I think the saddest thing is when you go by like your neighbors take down Christmas lights. You go to the, like a Walmart or Target, and like all the Christmas stuff is gone, and it's like, oh yeah, it's over.
Yeah, no more. The only thing I'm glad is I don't have to hear Mariah Carey no more. We're done.
I heard they played her less this year. People were like, where is she? We don't see her. We haven't heard her.
She's checking her royalty checks. Like, what? Hey, why is it so late?
Honest. Hey, time for a new album.
Exactly. Time for. Hey, does she even make albums anymore?
You know what? Maybe. I think after the whole New Year's Eve debacles, I think she's like, you know what? Let me just, collect my money passively.
Yeah, I'm good now. I'm not Taylor Swift who's putting out stuff constantly, so it's good, man. No, Taylor Swift was a big argument point, I guess, at Thanksgiving this year for some reason. I think she's cool, but whatever. Anyway,
you know what? Hey, there's a new hater every day. That's what I've learned about being a Swiftie. It's all good.
I gotta say, I respect her business mindset. She is genius.
Let's go.
All right, folks. Let's talk about an MMA Awards show. We'll start out with the top one, fight of the year. What fight stood out to you in terms of 2025? What fight made you like? Because I know when I look at fight of the year, for example, I like an entire story. An entire story, whether it's in the cage or the lead up to the fight, whatever it is. What was the fight of the year for you?
You know what? It's always tough when you kind of go with the obvious, because there were some decent bangers this year. But Brandon Royval, Joshua Van, more or less, Brandon Royval, I think he got the short end of the stick because he was so game to take it. Yeah. But let's be real, it was the breakout of Josh. And it just, I thought everything. One, the fact that it was short notice. Two, the fact that he was, he was definitely what you would call up and coming top prospect. But he got thrown to the deep end of contendership, taking on Royval. Very game. I thought and then obviously the fight delivered, but little things, the commentary. I loved how the commentary was talking to his coaches about, they're talking about his boxing, how they thought he'd go into pro boxing. And the guy puts on such a beautiful boxing clinic. Essentially, the boxing was what got him past a very complete, very dangerous guy in Royval. Highest output. They just beat the daylight out of each other. It was a big event. Obviously, all the symmetry, Pantoja face off after the fight. It was just really, I mean, who's had a better breakout? I mean, it's very rare that you get something like that in this day and age. I mean, you think of guys like Connor, showing up in Ireland and showing out. John Jones was in main events quickly, but for Van to perform like that on short notice in this context, I mean, really, it's like lightning in a bottle. So I give that one the fight of the year.
And then get the title fight and then winning it. Now, what did you feel about how he won? Because that's been the talking point since he won. Like, he won, and everyone's like, but he didn't, it almost seems like they were stuck on the celebration. That was like the biggest issue for everybody.
I mean, it's kind of like, it sucks because it's like, that's how the cookie crumbles, right? It's like, he got hurt. I mean, we can have a discourse about it. We could talk for half an hour, but he got hurt. And that, by the rules, Van gets the belt. Them's the breaks, right? The celebration, I mean, I've said it. I felt like there wasn't a right way to celebrate. He could have been really somber, but it's like, I mean, it's not your fault that he broke the arm landing like that. It happens. He could have really celebrated, and then it's like, well, you didn't really get to display the martial arts yet. So it's like, there's no right answer. So I think that everyone's actually doing the correct thing. It happened. Pantoja will fight again. And for now, if we're waiting for Tatsuro or if we're waiting for Manel Kopp, let's just bring it. And I think that that's the great attitude to have for everybody involved.
No, 100%. And, you know, my first thought, I immediately looked back to the second Weidman Silva fight, right? Because the first fight, everyone called it a fluke. And I'm like, you can call it what you want. It's MMA. But all right, cool. Let's have a rematch. In the rematch, Anderson breaks his leg. And then everyone's doing the same thing. And I'm like, where do you guys want to go with this? Because this makes no sense. Like, MMA is the game we play. This is not tennis. And tennis, people get hurt in tennis all the time. But this ain't tennis.
It's true.
So, is what it is, man. So for me, and when I was thinking about this, the only fight that popped in my head, I love the Van fight and the Vanderbilt Royale fight. That was great. But for me, it was the Yuri Prochazka Roundtree fight.
Oh yeah,
because the overall story of it was beautiful. First 2 rounds, it looks like Roundtree's about to just knock this dude out. Like, it's bad. Yuri looks slow. He looked confused at times. Like, he had no idea what was going on. And usually it's the other way around because Yuri's style is so crazy. It's such a wild style. It's usually his opponent's going like, I don't know what's going on here. And even Pereira got cracked a couple times. But for him to come into that 3rd round with that legit like samurai mindset whatever it was that he finished the fight. It was just he came in with that mindset of just kill or be killed, and he put everything out there, put himself in danger, like constant danger against a guy as dangerous as Khalil. And it messed with Khalil's head at that point because Khalil was like, I got this guy, it's no problem.
Oh yeah.
There was times in the first 2 rounds where I thought Khalil saw an opening, he didn't take it. Yuri's like, all right, look, I'm going to give you every opening because you haven't taken it anyway. I'm just going to put it out to see what happens. And then to finish it the way he did was just such a dope finish for me. The overall story of it was beautiful. Yuri Prochazka, Roundtree Jr. And then you go like, hey, I want a 3rd fight with Alex Pereira. I'm like, dude, you do not back down from nobody. Let's go. Let's get it, boy. It was a dope fight.
I think you really got to see Jiri's personality. And what I mean by that, obviously in the cage, just absolute samurai spirit. Like, this is what I do. We're going to go out there. And when you talk about the beating he was taking, it ain't about the money anymore. It ain't about the whatever followers, marketing, whatever you want to call it. It's about we are in the cage and this is do or die in front of everybody. And he went out there and he did that. 2, the emotion he showed, obviously watching Pereira win the belt back and he's shedding tears. And I'm like, real man tears. I mean, I feel like people learned a lot about Jiri out there. I like the whole, the meme ability of it. I mean, people would like, you could Photoshop Jiri's face on it and the Martin Scorsese absolute cinema. That was some absolute cinema. Are you kidding me? Khalil had his number. Stylistically was working. Putting it on him. Jiri starting to look discouraged a little bit. It's like, dang, this is, when someone's having a bad night at the office, you could see it. And he pulls that one out of the hat. Beautiful. Absolute cinema. Loved it.
Incredible. And to call for Pereira, like, I want a 3rd fight with the baddest dude on the planet. I'm like, dude, who else asked for that? Nobody's asking for that.
I mean, I think the cool thing, though, is like, I think about like Miesha Tate losing twice to Ronda Rousey. I mean, we don't talk about enough to stay in the hunt after you've been vanquished like that. It is a very difficult thing. Very clearly, the UFC starts to use you because it's like, hey, look, we can't sell a 3rd one. So either you're fighting down the ladder or you're going to be on ice for a minute. And the fact that Jiri, obviously the Jamal fight, obviously this one with Khalil, I think that was just very... I think that's not talked about enough, how hard that is to do, to stay in the hunt and make sure you haven't lost your edge after dealing with that 2 losses for the belt.
Yeah, and I mean, the only other people that would actually call out Pereira for a fight would be these weirdos that think they had a chance with Tracy Cortez for some reason. These guys are just like, everyone, I don't know if you saw it, but all weekend it was just like, oh, well, look, you a-hole and all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, you talk like you had a chance, my guy.
Exactly. You thought it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, I thought we were endgame. And it's like, I get it, man. You're allowed to dream in this life.
Yeah, social media it got some of y'all being kind of weird. I'll tell you that much. All right,
this is fair. Yeah.
The
comment, hey, go check the comments. You'll get evidence.
Oh yeah, 100%. All right, moving on here. Let's do knockout of the year. Do what knockout? Because knockouts are poetry in motion, the way I see it. Submissions too, but knockouts because they could be like quick and you don't even see it coming, or you can see it coming the way you saw, for example, Max Holloway just engaged.
Yeah.
When he started laying off on the combo, I knew that last hook was coming. I was like, at the end, it's got to end somewhere. But for it to end that way was so clean, just poetry in motion. What knockout did that for you?
I think I'll be honest. Sometimes I want to see something we don't see all the time. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy to give it to like, oh, what was the most important fight that ended by
Mm-hmm.
knockout? And I know a lot of people had, voted thinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
I personally went with Mauricio Rufy over Bobby Green.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. Like just the distance control, the accuracy, the drama. At the time, the fighting nerds had not taken an L yet. So, like, it
Mm-hmm.
just felt like the train was unstoppable. And so the fact that he added to that just really made it, really cool. John Silva goes out there and he's looking for
Mm-hmm.
it against Bryce Mitchell. So, in the context of the moment, I
Mm-hmm.
just really loved that one. It was so clean, so cold. I always say this knockouts, there's good, and then you turn it up to a nasty, turn the dial all the way
Yeah.
up. Mauricio Rufy got a nasty when he got that one on King Green.
That was nice. And the thing about King Green too is that guy is as dangerous as they come, and no one talks
Oh, yeah.
about that. Everyone thinks because he talks the way he does, moves the way he does, wears the chains, the grills, fights with his arms low, that he can't crack. There's a science to what he does. It starts from before the fight to in the cage, and his fight style is crazy. But like those fighting nerds at that time, obviously not now. That now they're working their way back a little bit, especially with Carlos. But they were on a high. They were riding high and crazy. And for him to come in and put a show on like that was nuts. And it's hard to knock out King Green. And he's a hard guy to knock out.
Yeah, it was just, mind you, like, he's such a tall guy for 55. It was just very beautiful. Beautiful technique to watch.
Yeah.
And then Benoit Saint Denis had wanted zero to do with that and just wrestled him. And who saw that coming? And it's like, in hindsight, yeah, why would you want to stand with Rufy?
Look, man. Hey, BSD French Special Forces. They're not stupid.
Oh yeah,
they got some smarts to them. Okay, he's like, yeah, strike with this guy out of your mind.
Hey, I think he played it well. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a banger, bro. Just like we're having none of that tonight.
100%. Yeah, that was dope. Yeah. So, I love that one. That was great. I also really like Pratis spinning back elbow finish of Neil.
Oh
but
yeah.
To me, neither carried the weight, and this should have pushed this guy to a title shot. Really should have, and we're not going to get it yet, and whatever, for whatever reason. But to me, no knockout in my mind this year carried the weight of Leon Murphy spinning back elbow knockout of Aaron Pico at UFC 319 in Chicago. Because for years, Murphy has been overlooked by the UFC and by the fans overall because he doesn't talk trash. He doesn't put himself out there. He doesn't troll anybody. He's respectful. He's a martial artist. Lets us fight and do the talking. On a wild night in Chicago, the man who usually let his fists do the talking, let his elbows do the talking. And he did it to Aaron Pico, who was coming in and making his debut. Tons of fanfare. Everyone thinking, hey, well, Pico wins this fight, get him a title shot. And Murphy took his shine. I got to cover that one. And I asked Murphy, I go, in the pre-fight, in media day, I go, do you think not talking trash has cost you some opportunities in the UFC? He said, yes, absolutely. Because the guys that talk trash get all the media following, or the social media following and everything. Yeah. He goes, and then after the fight, I was just like, you're going to open this school of trash talk? He started laughing. He's like, nah, dude, I'm just going to keep fighting, man. So, and it hurt. It hurt a little bit. He didn't get that title shot right away. He should have gotten that. I know it's going to Diego. But, hey, man, I can't wait till he gets his title shot. Because I think if anyone's going to make the most of it, it's going to be Leon Murphy. But to me, it was a great, it was an awesome knockout, honestly. And to have been able to see it live was even doper.
Yeah, we rewatched that one, kicking in the holidays and, big fight house. I'm sure you can see this back here.
Yeah.
My biggest thing, when you talk about how strong Pico came out in that fight, he was taking it to Murphy and, call it the jitters, call it this and that. Look, I mean, this isn't Pico's first time, where it doesn't go his way, unfortunately, because I was one of those guys, Southern California. So I've been there for so many Aaron Pico media days from the jump, from Bellator signing him, saying, you're our blue chip prospect. And so I've seen I know him to be a great gentleman on a personal level. It's like I always, Aaron Pico, I'm a fan for life. I like the guy. He's not a kid anymore. He's a young man with a son of his own. And you know what? I'm very proud and happy for him. Lerone Murphy needed that. And when you talk about guys like Leon Edwards, I think about guys like Beneil Dariush, Bilal Muhammad, Jacare, these guys who had to put together all these long win streaks that never culminated in a title shot. It's very clear that Lerone is in that kind of vein where it's like he's so good, but I get it. There's a marketability that comes with personality and performances that, look at Alex Pereira. Didn't need too many fights to get to the belt. Other guys, it's like, man, it's like how many, like, they were winning before Pereira got to the UFC. They were winning after Pereira got to the UFC, and they still weren't getting a title shot before he did. So I get it. Like you said, Lerone Murphy, he needed it in that moment, and he got it. Took the fight on short notice for Mofsar, and it just really worked out for him. I think also in the context, Dan Ige went to decision with him. Josh Emmett went to decision with him. Yeah, the UFC wanted Pico, for sure. And so the fact that this came together for him, I think it was really beautiful. It's always going to be like, the thrill and the agony. After so many wins, they finally get a title shot, right? Or they don't. And it's like, man, how much work did you put in? And it didn't happen. So, Beneil Dariush, great example, ran into Charles Oliveira, didn't culminate in a title shot, right? So the fact that Lerone is in this position, I am happy for him. I do believe, in all honesty, whether it be Lopez, whether it be Volk, whether, whatever, I do think he is going to fight for the title next. And he's just obviously not in the next title fight.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that'll be a fight you definitely put at the O2, just because why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Put that
I
one in
mean,
London.
personally, I thought it's like, why not? If they're looking to have a title in London, it felt like the timing was there for March, but okay, like I said, we're moving along.
Yep, exactly. That's how the game of MMA goes, dude.
Hey, Lerone Murphy versus Diego Lopez, Noche UFC 4.
Damn. In Mexico, that'd be dope, too. If they did in Mexico, we'll see. Yeah.
Hey, Lerone Murphy in that accent. Hola, amigo.
That'd be awesome. All right, dude. Hey, submission of the year. The submissions of the year is because submissions, to set up a submission, to be able to, you can fall into one for sure, but setting up submissions is such a tricky thing to do, especially when you're getting punched in the face. So to be able to pull one off in spectacular fashion, you deserve to get submission of the year, for that. So what did you have for submission of the year?
I always like to be like such a nerd about it, and I get all these, it's like high degree of difficulty out of LFA or Ryzen, and be like, nah, did you see the freaking spider web they had to get in? To be honest, the guy who blew me away, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez over Roman Dolidze. He got the rare nasty score on a submission. Drags, he was winning, and then gets him to the cage and says, we're bringing this home. Drags Roman to the middle of the octagon while he's choking him out, gets the tap out in the center of the ring. That was a nasty. So Fluffy Hernandez also, like, once again, the gangsterness to just be like, look, I could try to politic for RDR or Kaio or one of these other guys who's on a roll at the time. And he's just like, bro, just give me somebody and let's get it going. And I think that the fact that he did that, Roman, by the way, look at Roman's physique. Let's be real. You probably wanted to fight that night like Fluffy, but you wanted to look like Roman. Does that to him. So I gave him the submission. I thought that was just great theater also.
Fluffy falling out of that out of the RDR fight, that hurt. That sucked to see, because I don't know what the injury was. I'm assuming it's probably like a rib or something, but that sucked to see. What do you see for Fluffy in 26? He's gonna be healthy. He's gonna be ready to go. Do you think this is the year he finally gets that title shot?
Stylistically, it's like, let's be real. Unless Sean Strickland is hiding this great grappling that we've never seen, stylistically feels like it should be Fluffy over him. By the way, perfect matchmaking. Hamzat and Strickland have the history. Obviously, Fluffy today looks like the one grappler who may be able to hold up to the attack of a guy like Hamzat, so it works. I think he gets the title shot. Look, Nasruddin is no slouch, but once again, obviously everyone acknowledges the train that is Hamzat kind of looks pretty unstoppable when it's really rolling. So, yeah, I think that Fluffy will get a shot at the belt. He hasn't fought Nasruddin yet either, so it just all works out.
Yeah, there you go, man. Do you, real quick before I get my spot here, because you just reminded me of something Tim Welch said recently, not today, yesterday, something like that. I don't know if you heard it, where he said that he heard a rumor the UFC is trying to get away from these grapplers that just hold people down. And it's just like, bro, where you been the last 10 years, dog? They've been trying to do that, but not to the scale that he's claiming it's going to get to. Do you think that's like a legit thing?
I think that it's not just about that, it's about marketing. One thing
Mm-hmm.
that's funny, and this came up on Fluffy's last like post-fight scrum, I think from the Delitzi fight, was that like, oh, Fluffy can't go 5 seconds without dropping an F-bomb. Fluffy dropped many F-bombs right after that, so I think it's not
Yeah.
unfair. Um, so that's the difference, right? It's like
Mhm.
when you, or like Hamza doesn't speak the best English, but he's got a personality
Yeah.
that he has figured out how to convey to the fans. So when you have those two things, Habib, perfect example, became a
Mm-hmm.
superstar. When you could crack the code, it's okay. There's some grapplers people love. Now, there are a couple of these other guys, and I get it. They're just focused on winning. A lot of these guys, and I get it. They're almost a little bit of copy and paste,
Mm-hmm.
especially a lot of the Dagestani guys. It's like I get it, and mind you, look, they've all known each other forever. They come from a place where there's not a lot of variety and things to do. It's a mountain. They work
Mm-hmm.
hard. There's farms, and then there's fighting. Right? This is what's been conveyed to us.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when you have those personalities that haven't broken out yet, yeah, maybe UFC doesn't see the dollar signs in that
Mm-hmm.
quite the same. Habib talked about it. Obviously, UFC let a couple of contracts expire. I don't think that it's going to be a thing. I think that the guys, I'll be real, if you can train to get to the level that you guys are at right now, there's a good chance that you will also probably be able to conquer Rosetta Stone, and
Yeah.
you'll be just fine.
There you go, man. Honestly, a lot of these guys have just learned English. If they just learn a little bit of English, just I think it would help their marketing big time. But marketing has become such a big thing in the game. I've been interviewing guys from LFA for a minute now, and I just had a couple guys from 559 Fights. The crew, Michael Hernandez and
Yep.
those guys, out in Cali. And one guy, Josh Alton, fights this weekend. And I was talking to him. I was like, you seem like you put it all together. You market yourself really well. He goes, you have to do it these days. And I'm like, exactly. If all these young guys learn to market themselves a little better, that road to the UFC is just a little clearer for you. But yeah, no, 100% that whole it's important for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
those are the best times, by the way.
Yeah.
Like Ethan Ewing, who obviously
Yeah.
upset Wellmaker. I think I have one of the few Ethan Ewing freaking interviews out there pre-UFC, and I was
Yeah.
just like, even I had to check it. It's like, wait, you do so many of these on the regional scene. Like I'm not gonna lie, I don't always remember all of them. A
Mhm.
lot of them are just very immediate. Ethan didn't have a ton of fights. And then it's like, oh, bro, like freaking upset of the year much? Like, come on, let's
Yeah.
go. So, yeah, I love those times.
100%, man. All right. That's my sub of the year here. Because I love that one for sure. But okay, so this chaotic scramble turns into an instant lights out finish with a level of precision only a handful of fighters in the world can replicate, right? So John Silva kind of it was one of those weird things. You remember when Bryce Mitchell did his unfortunate little what is it? What do they call it? The thoughts thing. What is it? What is the thing? It's
The speaker where he,
intrusive thoughts. Like he had his
yes,
intrusive
yes.
thoughts moment. Okay, intrusive thoughts moment on his podcast, episode freaking 1. Okay, episode 1 comes out and says the wildest stuff. I mean, it was so wild. His own like a co-host was staring at him like, "You're not doing this right now. My face is on the internet with you doing this." That comes out, and the entire world's anti Bryce Mitchell. They booked that fight, and we all became John Silva fans immediately. Yeah. First of all, talk about marketing. Okay, John Silva was like, "You want to give me who? Oh, I'll take that fight, 100%. You kidding me? Everyone's gonna be on my side." And the cheers when he caught Mitchell with a ninja choke. First of all, a ninja choke is so hard to get on people.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not even good at training it. I've tried it a million times. I can't do it. Right. And the fact that he pulled it off the way he did it, I was just like, what the hell? And then Mitchell fought his ass off trying to defend. He had time to defend everything, right? Yeah. Defended it well. And it's just little by little, it got tighter and tighter, adjusting the grips and everything. Beautiful submission. But to me, just the story around it was just hilarious. But at the same time, genius marketing by Silva and those fighting nerds. And again, those guys have the game. Like they know the game real well. Just got to get back on track. But yeah, to me, dude, I love that submission. That was fun.
I mean, that was one of those like, you talk about an undercard fight that had so much attention going into that one. I mean, that was a stacked card that they put him on.
Yeah.
And it was like people were like talking about that one just as much as like, bro, this is as interesting to us as Patty and Michael Chandler right now. Yeah. Like it was just a perfect storm. I will always remember they announced the fight and we got the press conference where you had Bryce and John for the first time. I have, look, I've done these a lot. I'm gonna just be blunt. Sometimes they're not everything, they don't knock your socks off. That was one where I was like, bro, I can't wait to see what happens with those two. It's gonna be so good. And it
Yeah.
was. And mind you, finally, just you talk about the performance. I think a lot of people would have said, "Oh, physicality." Look at how
Yeah.
John Silva, especially, he was coming off the win over Mexico. I always butcher his name, but the Lion. I was there at that fight in Seattle. I mean, putting hands on him. Obviously, Mitchell is not known for his striking. He's known more for his
Right.
grappling. So the fact that John Silva, after he did put some hands on him, ends up subbing him, I think that that's very notable too.
Yeah, no, 100%. Man, all right, couple more categories here. I think 3 more categories. All right, let's do male fight of the year. Who, and as far as the guys go, who made the biggest impact? Who was your fight of the year?
Merab. I was there for 2 of those fights, and I get it. He lost the last one. Peter Yan did have a solid year, did have a great performance. Individually, to defeat Umar Nurmagomedov in a title fight, to defeat Corey Sandhagen in a title fight, to outdo your own performance stopping Sean O'Malley in a title fight. That tops in 3 title fights, high stakes fights for the belt, defending champion. That trumps Islam getting 2. That trumps Ilya only getting 1. That trumps Peter Yan getting 2. Sorry, not sorry.
Dude, we have the same guy. I picked Merab as well. He may have lost that final fight of the year, but and he dropped the title short. Okay, but just having the guts to defend that title 4 times in 1 calendar year, right? I mean, the last time that happened was Demetrius Johnson, and DJ is the GOAT, one of the GOATs, right? And so that was amazing, honestly, to see just the willingness to do it, just the company, man. But what really pushed it for me was the fact that apparently, allegedly, I forgot who put the story out. That dude sparred 5 hard rounds the morning of his freaking title fight. I forgot which one. This one, last one,
Corey Sandhagen one.
Yeah. He sparred 5 hard rounds in the morning and then beat on Corey Sandhagen. Like, the confidence of this man, and not to mention, like, he's just a workhorse. Like, everyone always wants to do, wants to be like on blue collar, this and that. We're talking blue collar fighter to the core right here with Merab. So I'm a huge Merab fan. Awesome guy. I know one of those guys had to win 1 million fights just to get a title shot. Yeah. They tried to not give it to him. They tried so hard to not give it to him, and they couldn't deny him. And once he got it, took advantage of it. And we were talking about him being the best bantamweight ever just before he lost his last fight. So, fight of the year, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, he should have had it locked in when he beat Jose Aldo. Oh, what does he do? He goes out there and beats Peter Yan. And then he had to have another fight, beat Henry Cejudo, and then he fought for the title. I mean, that's just crazy. And look, you could talk about, Dare to Be Great, the burnout, the this and the that. Personally, to me, I think that, only he knows for sure. But in context, I'd say, look, as great as Peter Yan performed, that was also maybe a little bit of burnout for Merab. Look, he is only human. There is only so much. And I think even Merab talked about hurt the hand, dealt with some virus or something. So it's like, mind you, that's probably a little bit of your system being worn down after camp and fights, but weight cuts, but still.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, for him to pull it off the way he did 4 of them, I'm just like, I don't even care that he lost the last one. That is impressive. Right, and it's always the lighter weight guys that can do it. It's either the heavyweights that get immediate quick knockouts and everything, or it's the lighter weights who you could just do it. It's just really wild to me. And
not for nothing. Your point about marketing. The second he realized he was okay being a class clown and cracked the code, look at how popular it is. Oh, the girls in the pool, and you got Nina Drama and that exposure on the UFC's channels. I mean, all of that. That is a deliberate thing. He knows that this is good for business, and that's why he does so much of it too, on top of clearly putting a lot of rounds in the gym.
Yeah, there you go, dude. And yeah, you're right. He does. And honestly, he's pretty damn good with the skits. Like, I don't know if you saw the skits that he made. He's really good with the skits. They're hilarious because he doesn't mind looking stupid. So it's honestly awesome. I mean, even when he did that selfie video, he did the selfie video after the crash. Remember he had the car crash? He's like, hey, guys, I got in a car. And it looks scary as shit because the roof is all down. And I'm like, Merab, get the fuck out of there, dude. Like, it was crazy. That is a wild, man. That's one of those fighters you can look at me like, I want to have a beer with that guy. 100%.
Yes, for sure, for sure. I loved everything he did leading up to Noche,
Mhm.
like trying to make himself seem more Mexican to get the fight
Yeah.
at the Sphere.
Dude,
Very
yeah.
well played. And
Oh,
he
dude.
admitted it. It's like, I wanted to fight at the Sphere, and I was like, good
Yeah.
job, you got
Got
it.
it. Got it done, Rob. Honorary
Yeah.
Mexican right there. All right. So the
Hey.
ladies, man. Who on the ladies' side made your fight? Who was the fight of the year from the ladies' side for you?
Oh my gosh, Easy Shevchenko won. I think the only champion to get 2 victories in a row or this year. Two, just I think that maybe going into the Manon fight specifically, it's like, all right, is this not the Valentina of before? Yes, she's still good, but is she still ahead of the next wave coming? And now that we're done with the Alexa Grasso chapter,
Yeah.
yes, she is, and she stayed ahead, throttled Manon, and then just put on an instructional video against Zhang Wei Li. In hindsight, great matchmaking to take that, and it's like, oh, let's handle this. And she did. And look, Zhang Wei Li is a very, very amazing martial artist, skill-wise. Is it more the size that got it done? Probably, yeah, sure, but still, Valentina, you don't just roll out of bed and do what you did to those
Mm.
two women. This is someone who still loves the game. I've known her manager a long time and says, no, like, this is somebody who doesn't shortchange it. She does
Mhm.
everything to be ready to go for this one thing she does. It's her passion. So, yeah, Valentina by a mile for the win.
It's so hard to think about who can beat her because she's evolved with. I mean, when she first came in, she was just knocking chicks out left and right. Now she's a wrestler. Like
Yep.
now she's actually one of the very few fighters who have legitimately improved in front of our eyes through
Yep.
her UFC career, not just her early career, but her UFC career. It's super impressive. You can't knock it at all.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, and it's just look with respect, like Kayla Harrison, that was a great performance. Definitely breakout against Juliana Pena. Obviously, what Zhang Wei Li did to Tatiana Suarez, yes,
Mhm.
it was great. Obviously, a little diminished now by that loss to Valentina. But when I watched what Wei Li did to Tatiana, I was like, is there a strawweight that beats her? I don't know. I mean, let me toss it to you. I mean,
Hmm.
if Wei Li wants to stay at 25, sure, but I feel like you could kind of just keep collecting the Infinity Stones and take on Mackenzie Dern. I think that fight has a lot of legs to it. What about you?
I go right back to strawweight. Strawweight. Yeah, I go back to strawweight immediately because why not? Like she came in, there was nothing to lose. Like sure, she dropped the belt, but the UFC's making everyone do it now. There's no more champ stuff anymore. They don't want to hold up divisions anymore, and I get it. But she went up and took the challenge, and it didn't work out. But life of the martial artist is you go back, you collect yourself, and you figure it out. And so, like, would I mind if she stayed at 25? No, I wouldn't mind seeing her, work her way back to, take a crack at Valentina. The problem is we've seen that happen before. And a lot of these fighters can't handle that weight class anymore, or that weight class, a higher weight class at all. And then they go back way too late. So I want her to go right back, get her title back. Like I said, keep collecting, W's, keep collecting checks, and just become the greatest strawweight of all time. There's nothing wrong with that. So that would be great. But you did mention my pick for fight of the year, for female fighter of the year. And I'm going to get some stuff for this. And I already gotten scoffed at for this pick, but keep in mind, I am a jiu-jitsu guy first. Okay. So when you look at the full arc of Mackenzie Dern's martial arts journey, her crowning moment at UFC 321 against Berna, it feels like the perfect capstone to that long road to gold, right? Like we saw her at ADCC. I saw her fight to win here. Locally, she fought in the main event, a fight to win, and it was crazy to see her in person. First of all, I was like, holy crap! And then getting to meet her at a UFC event a handful of times, just as nice as I thought she was. But to finally like kind of fulfill her destiny and become an MMA champion in the UFC, to me, made her the fight of the year, right? And I did get some grief for it, and I get it, fair enough. But I just thought it was a really cool story for her to complete it, right? Complete the story, full circle moment, get that title, and take over to Megaton Diaz, her dad, who's also a jiu-jitsu legend, and just make it happen for herself. And also, her daughter, we know, the rough time she's had lately with, rough divorces and all that.
Her personal life.
Yeah, her personal life's been, and unfortunately for her, it's been put a giant spotlight on it because we can't, people can't handle, fighters having privacy anymore. But it's just cool to see it all kind of come together for her and go well. But yeah, Wei Li, I got Wei Li coming back, and that's going to be a wild fight, I think, for Mackenzie to figure out if it happens.
Yeah. Yes, just in case I am frozen, I can see and hear you just fine.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, on that note, yeah, no, interviewed Mackenzie a lot. I think one of the early days, the early interviews on the channel, I did get one with Mackenzie. Like you said, super personable. Like I get the hype. She really is just what you see on the interviews is exactly who she is. But yeah, just the trajectory. I mean, you talk about like that, next Ronda Rousey. Because one thing I would say is that, when you talk about, the future, especially as they start this new deal, and you talk about, well, why hasn't, women's MMA had that next, mainstream superstar, et cetera, right? Um, I think it's a lot of things. One, Ronda Rousey was like lightning in a bottle, perfect storm, right? I mean, she was unafraid. One, not afraid to be a little brash on the mic. Obviously was performing great. Wasn't afraid to do the sex appeal thing. I mean, ESPN body issue. Later on, did the Sports Illustrated swimsuit. Those are things that I don't think it's unfair to say catered a bit to the male gaze, right? It's very hard to find all of those things that quote make a superstar in this day and age. And I will acknowledge right now, just with that, rules are a little different making a female superstar to a male superstar. But the fact is, it felt like, oh, well, who is it? And, obviously a lot of talented women have come after Ronda, but Mackenzie just seemed to have that, just had that history, personality. You follow her on Instagram. A lot of people have seen her Instagram. I don't need to say more about this, right?
Yeah.
So, it kind of felt like, all right, Mackenzie Dern, if there's any girl that seems like she will be that girl, or the next Ronda, it felt like Mackenzie was on the short list. Progress is not a straight line, so she had some setbacks. Obviously, other women, kind of ahead of her in the rankings, and you'd say maybe just fighting better. But to have all of that culminate, it doesn't take away from the fact that like she beat some very high level people, had some very high level fights, and also, you know what? Probably more pressure, because not everyone cared about some of the other people in the division winning or losing. But because Mackenzie is such a big name, big brand, very popular, yeah, there was more pressure on her because it was more notable when she lost. So I don't think that's nothing. I think that is very significant when you talk about someone's career.
Yeah, no, 100%. She's shown another one of those fighters that's shown exponential growth in her career, And so, it's been, especially with her hands. When she first came in, she had no hands. Working with Jason Perillo, now she's got hands, and it's actually kind of dope to see. But yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think if they were to put that fight together with Weili, I think it'd be a really notable one. I think it'd be one of the bigger ones on the calendar for sure.
100%. So yeah, 100%. I agree with you. All right, dude. Last one. Story of the year. What story in 2025 stuck out to you the most?
Oh, bro. So I was trying to think, does this count as a story or does it not? Like, the first thing that came to my mind was the White House, but I'm like, we're talking about what will be the story this year. What didn't actually happen last year.
Right.
If we don't talk about it, if you don't pick it, then we'll just talk about it after. So I'm actually gonna sidestep it. The UFC Vancouver event, where with Mike Malott and Kevin Holland. And after like freaking 7-minute break, they still restart it. And then the Casey Kenny, Matt Favola restart, even though he got finished. And let me tell you, it wasn't just about that night. It was how we were literally seeing the course correction. Because after that, I think the following week is like freaking Tom Aspinall, and he gets poked in the eye. And then the following week, freaking Ante D'Elia gets eye poked, gets TKO'd. They let him start it over, and then freaking Waldo Cortez Acosta gets the finish. And I was like, are we just playing fast and loose with the rules? Yeah. So my news story is how the rules started really interfering with the fights. So I'm gonna go with that story.
Dude, how was it?
I know what you're gonna pick, probably, but I'm gonna mention that one for variety.
No, it's good. No, and the thing about it too is it was like the year of the foul and the ref mishap. Every single event, there was somebody. I mean, you after the fight, all you do is hit social media, and everyone's like, Herb Dean is trash, and Mark Goddard is trash, and Jason Herzog's trash, and I'm like, you don't like nobody, bro. Just chill out. But that was weird. It was a weird thing to see refs kind of like kind of take a hit this year.
Yeah, and I think, dude, there's such a human element to refereeing. Like, there needs to be some kind of like. My thing about it was that in the case of the Kevin Holland thing, or even like the Matt Frivola thing, it's like you guys have. It's not one ref in charge of it. They defer to the guys on the outside that do have the nice benefits of replay and another angle and et cetera, right? So it's like, okay, how is it with these other resources? Somehow we did not have the most effective call. And then in the case of like the Antidelia Waldo Cortez Acosta, it's like, how did we still let that one happen? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
look, I love the refs. I've gotten to interview a bunch. I know it's a hard job, and I know they're trying their best. But I think that, look, just like any job, when the ball gets dropped a little bit, like, hey guys, what just happened? We are all in agreement. Let's tighten the belt and let's keep it going. I think we all, as fans, and maybe as the community in general, just want to know, like, hey, there's a human element. It's all good, but we're tightening the belt and we're gonna, lock it in. That's cool. That's all I think anyone wants. They don't want this big lose their job. They are trash. Yeah. No, we're just like, you guys good? Yeah, we're fixing that right now.
There you go, man. All right, so you called me on it, dude. The UFC White House thing, because it the second they even announced it, I thought it was a joke. I thought they were playing. I mean, right now, as we sit here, as they're planning it, whatever they're planning for the whole thing, they're talking about building this and that, and at the front lawn or the north or whatever lawn they're picking or whatever, and how crazy it's going to be in DC for that one. To me, it still doesn't feel real. I still don't believe it's actually going to happen. Like, I don't think I'm going to really believe it until the week of, I'm not sure, or until they announce a card at least, because we've never had a fight announcement happen or a fight event announcement happen a year before and have it be the biggest story in my mind of the year before. Like, the symbolism alone made headlines, right? The most influential combat sports organization in the world with a massive card at the most recognizable house in the world. Like, there's nothing bigger than that. With the president's endorsement, in fact, not even that. I mean, the president's talking about having like 9 title fights on it. I don't know. I know everyone says, like, Dana's like, he's definitely a fight fan. I don't buy it. All right, no one's put 9 title fights in one card, dog, and that guy's barely awake. But like, for him to be endorsing it and pushing it out there, the president of the United States talking about MMA is wild, and he's gonna have it in his front lawn, or south lawn, whatever it's gonna be. It's gonna be nuts. And to me, it's the story of the year, and I can't wait. If it happens, look, and people call me a hater saying I hate it, I'm against it. I'm not. All right. If it's fun, I'm down. Let's go. It sounds like fun. Let's see what happens.
I mean, look, we talked about this privately. You already know my ticket is booked. This is what I do. That being said, I like the pageantry of it. I like the whole I wanted to go crazy. I want the press conference right there in front of Abraham Lincoln's statue on those steps. I hope the post-fight press conference takes place in the White House press room. I want to sit next to I hope they put me next to some C-SPAN person and we just talk about life, and I get to talk to them about it's like, so you work here every day, and what if there's nothing going on? Do you guys ever just go off when it's a slow day? I mean, I want all of these things. I do believe that at least for the main event, they're going to do the whole, for the drama of it, walk from the Oval Office to the lawn in the fight. Let's get it on. Once again, I'm not going to call it because that's this year's news, not last year's news. You know what I thought you were going to pick, honestly?
What?
John Jones. Retire, not retire. I really thought that would take it.
What did you think about that? What did you think about that? Because it's weird to me.
You know what? I think just like how somehow it got botched, and in hindsight, okay, they played it close to the vest, and I think that's what essentially how the firecracker blew up at them. Okay, well, we know what are their plans, and John Jones, I know my plans, and it is very clear behind the scenes that they came to an agreement, and I guess 30 million is the number, and clearly John Jones said, I'm good. And then clearly Dana and the UFC were like, no, they clearly tried to salvage it and kick the can longer. That is why when you started to hear the rumblings, that they still kept saying, no, we're doing it. No, no, that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that has to be what they I think it was just uncomfortable because it's like, well, Tom Aspinall got the shortest end of the stick that we've seen in many years.
Yeah.
I think that, for sure, when you talk about Dana White and, Turkey and everything, all the money over there in the Middle East, it's very rare that they have a moment like this where, they kind of walk out and it's like, did we just, stuff like that doesn't happen to those guys.
Right.
And then for John Jones to pull a 180 and, he is so all in on being on the White House after turning down 30 million. And then just this aggressive, aggressive is a strong word, but this trolling of Tom Aspinall with the profile picture with the duck. And then he changes the duck to have the eye patch. It's like, everything. I say it because it was kind of like in your face news. And I thought if you didn't say White House, I figured you would go John Jones.
Yeah,
on that one.
Yeah, no, honestly, the thing I made me think about John Jones just recently, I think today or yesterday, they announced him and DC coaching against each other on the Russian reality show. My first thought was, man, they paid DC a bucket of money to go on that thing. There's no way. I don't think he would do it otherwise, because DC likes to make his money and everything. But I don't know. I'm not gonna watch it because I'm not staying up till whatever AM to watch it. But it's interesting to see what these guys are gonna do. But
personally, I think that they've dropped the ball. I think that Netflix has dropped the ball, not finding a way to get this thing dubbed like Squid Game or something. Like, come on. Now, mind you, I think the whole point is that they are spending money for Russian television to put it on Thailand or whatever. But it's like, I think it's Russian, but they film it in Thailand. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, my point though is that they clearly have money. Remember, this fell apart on them before because they did Aljo and Peter Yan, and then they did John Jones and Nate Diaz, and apparently, like, I think John quit on it, and it's like, yeah, I'm good. Like, this whole thing went off the rails. Clearly, the checks are clearing. That's the only way you get John in DC for stuff like this. And then the Real American Freestyle, right? Like, DC said that, we'll wrestle, and I'm like, I need to see John say that too.
To believe it, 100%. Now, and they're coming here. I got our boy Dylan Rush working on my credentials for that one, but because they're doing his Cejudo and Faber are going to be wrestling here, so I guess we'll see it.
Nice.
So the other thing was, and I was going to pick this one, but I went with the White House one, the Paramount Plus deal, because we've had ESPN for like how many was it? 10 years at ESPN? I can't remember exactly, but or 7 years, whatever it was, like. To go from ESPN and all the everyone complains about ESPN Plus. I complain about ESPN Plus probably more than anybody because I can't stand it. Every 5 seconds is some BS with it.
Sure.
But to move to Paramount Plus for $1 billion a year for 7 years, like that is a massive deal. But the biggest part of it, obviously, no more pay-per-views. It's all included, all-inclusive price. How big of an impact do you think that is for MMA, especially the viewers?
I think it's huge. I think for one, just looking at it, it's a completely different demographic. So when you look at ESPN, it's in the ABC family of streamers with Hulu and Disney Plus, right? That has a very different demographic than I think CBS, right? Just look at their programming, look at the stuff on there. So you're already tapping into that. 2, the price point. People who were turned off about doing this. I mean, look, if you've chosen to how do I put this? Indulge in this content through extracurricular activities. That doesn't always work the best, right? I think that's the general consensus online. So the fact that now it's like, oh, bro, like what? How much? Easy. Let's do it. I think that's huge. I think that in the moment, ESPN was great because ESPN gave them a validation that I think the UFC didn't have for a long time. The fact that, you trotted it out like an NBA playoff game and you put Stephen A and all them talking about it. Maybe they weren't the experts that, were right for the job, but they made it feel bigger. I think that did something for the UFC that probably would have taken longer without the brand. Now, with Paramount, it's huge because essentially you've gotten rid of like the biggest thing, that's accessibility. It's cheaper to get it now than ever before. So why wouldn't you want to check it out if you're interested? And now this is on the UFC promotion and marketing. If you got a fight that's very interested and you tell everybody, hey, it only costs $15 to watch it come that Saturday night. Bro, I don't think I could get a pizza that cheap delivered to my house anymore.
Not anymore.
Dude, so it's like, you're dang right. That is a whole lot. That's going to open up so many people who want to check this out. And then also, look, we have the White House thing coming up. Obviously, the UFC is going to do what they do. You have Alex Pereira, Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev, Hamza Chimaev. You got a lot of superstars that are going to definitely bring people into the service when they compete. So, yeah, it's just a slam dunk.
I just felt like Netflix dropped the ball. I thought it was like just an easy win for Netflix. Just grab that. You just did you just did some of the boxing stuff. The broadcast, like, it was solid. Those guys are pretty good. You could fine tune a couple things here and there, but overall it worked out pretty well. And I would like to hear the story of why it didn't work out with Netflix. Like, I feel like maybe they just wanted the numbered events, but I don't know.
I thought the number, I think the thing that was thrown out there on one of their business calls was that Netflix was in the running, and they thought they were going to give numbered events to Netflix, kind of like, WWE, the pay-per-views, PLEs, they call them now. And then, an ESPN or maybe Paramount probably would have gotten the rest. Instead, Paramount put their money where their mouth is to say we want a major player in the streaming wars, and they just did that. So, I think that's huge. I think, to me, when I think about, like all of this, I don't know that I would have told you it's between Netflix and Paramount. I would have said it's between like Netflix and Hulu, Netflix and HBO Max. I really didn't think Paramount had the muscle like that, and I think I've been proven wrong. The one thing I will say is that I know they're still working out their user interface. I'm trying to navigate this, and all I will say to the nice people at Paramount Plus is that please keep your people working on this, because I would also like to enjoy your service to the best of its capabilities. Please and thank you.
There you go. There you go, man.
I mean, look, let's just riff, man. I mean, 2026 is huge. I mean, you probably feel the same way I do. Now that it's cheaper, people who were turned off about this are probably now very excited to be like, yeah, I'll check that out, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, I already have some of our friends that that allegedly use those different ways to view the sport. They're all just like, how much is it going to be? And I'm like, they're only raising the price like $1 or something like that. From what I heard, they're like, seriously? I'm like, yeah. Oh, dude, I'm just gonna get Paramount Plus. And either way, like, most of the people that I know already have it because they're watching whatever's on there now. And like, my wife watches everything on that thing. And so when I heard UFC's going on there, I'm like, sweet. I go change the password, take it away from the kids. I don't need to get that log jam going with that thing. Okay, so I already got complained about by 3 teenagers about the fact that they can't watch Paramount Plus anymore. But But I thought it was great. It was a great move for Paramount Plus. It's a great move for the UFC, really. And then the funny thing is, the immediate first thing was like, so you're gonna pay the fighters more, right? And I was laughing. I was like, you kidding me? You tripping? You know how business works. They're not gonna pay you more.
Yeah, that's for everyone to negotiate individually. Anytime you have a change like that, some people are gonna have a good benefit. Others are probably gonna have a uphill battle. But that's a case-by-case basis, right, on that. And I hope the best for any athlete, right? Rule number 1, secure the bag. Bro, I guess, what do you think? Do you think we're going to see Ilia and Islam fight? Yes or no?
Oh, man. Islam, so Islam, Islam said they offered him a fight for January. He's like, not too soon. Yep. So he's not going to fight probably until after Ramadan, probably. Take some time away.
Well, he could fight like early March, because then Ramadan, it's like, oh, well, I'm already cutting weight, so not eating is kind of works. Especially I think it just kind of works out, timing wise. It's like, I think we're okay if the fight is on Saturday and Ramadan started Friday.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we do see it. I think we do get it this year. And I think it's all going to depend on what Ilya can do. Right. Ilya is going through the personal stuff right now. I mean, he keeps putting out these statements that, this last one didn't really make a lot of sense. I didn't know what he was talking about. Apparently there was a story put out there saying something about him. Honestly, he didn't put it. I didn't find the story, so I don't know if you know anything about it, but he's going through personal stuff right now. And we know the personal gets in your mind, especially in a fighter, and it'll mess with everything else. So I think he's smart for taking time off, going away. So if he's able to wrap all that whole thing up and whatever's going on with him, wrap it all up and get back on track, I think it would be the perfect time for him to fight Islam. I mean, we're talking, I'm assuming at that point, an incredibly motivated Ilia Topuria, a guy that wants to show he still has it, a guy that hopefully, in a similar-ish way than Mackenzie Dern and I forgot who she fought, that they were both coming off divorces. I hate to get into the personal stuff, but they fought, like, she fought kind of angry. In a similar way, she could use that, or he could use that energy for his performance. So I think we do get it. I kind of hope we get it. I couldn't tell you who's gonna win. Like, 'cause that's one of those fights where I'm like Islam's really good, but Illy might have it. He might have what it takes to beat him. What do you think happens?
I mean, anytime you got the superpowers colliding, it's really exciting. It's kind of like a big movie in that way. Yeah. That being said, I think that's a lot of size. Ilya wasn't the tallest featherweight to begin with, and now he's moving up 2 weight classes. That being said, when you throw hands like he does, anything could happen. I will say though, I would have told you, if they're gonna do this, we need to get the ball rolling yesterday.
Yes.
The fact that now there's a bit of a caveat now Ilya's dealing with this stuff. I'm sorry, but there's too many guys moving. You got at lightweight, all right, Patty or Gaethje, one of them's coming up. Arman Sarukian's right there. Welterweight, I mean, you could go Ian Gary, you could go Shavkat, you could go, I see Otis in here. Michael Morales is right there. Obviously, Carlos Prates could get in there. There's just too many guys waiting. And I hate to say it, but because you essentially had 2 champ fights this year. So Ilya's featherweight champion jumped the line. Islama's lightweight champion jumped the line. I mean, at this point, man, it's like, what are we doing? Just, if you're going to do it, commit to it so the other guys could get matchups. The fact that they're not, I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to be like, hey, White House is fine. We'll re-explore this another time. And Ilya handled his guys, Islam fight his guys. And if they keep winning, maybe. And there we go.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to change topics, so go for it. You asked me.
Oh, no. I just have one question real quick, because you were talking about matchups and stuff like that. Everyone wants to make their own White House card. I'm not going to ask you to do a whole card. What I will ask you is, if you had one name where you're like, must be on that card without a doubt, no excuses whatsoever, who is one fighter, male or female, who has to be on the White House card?
I like Charles Oliveira, but I'm not going to say him. Let me tell you real quick. I think that Adesanya threw the bucket of cold water. I thought a rematch of him and Strickland was so good for the White House. So, when I think about it, I'm going to say Charles just because he's one of my favorite guys on the roster. But I would have gone like Adesanya and Strickland. I think Kayla versus anybody, honestly. You got to have that on the White House. The whole thing with Conor McGregor and at the White House with Trump just kind of made it. I get it. It's such easy marketing now. I would have tell you Chris Weidman needs to be on it. Michael Chandler. Like, who are the most all-American, guys, clean-cut guys that we could find on it? But the one that stood out to me was Adesanya Strickland too. I'll give you that one. I felt like I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it would have been good theater for the White House.
Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. And my pick was going to be Sean Strickland, but I'll give you a different one. And Otis wants Hamza. That means
even Hamza knows that's not happening.
Hamza. He made a terrorist joke somewhere about it. I'm like, bro, all right, hey.
It's like, have you seen my face? They don't want. I was dying at that one.
He gonna get stopped at every checkpoint possible. But to me, if it's not Sean Strickland, you got to have Derek Lewis up in that hoe, dude.
Let me tell you something. Waldo Cortez Acosta could get Lewis out of there in 8 seconds, and Derek Lewis will still be on the White House. That's my prediction.
Dude. Yeah, right. I want Derek Lewis on that card. Like, how do you not have Derek Lewis on the White House card? Like, that would be perfect to me. Just straight up, like, I mean, for he's a funny ass dude. First of all, he can fight, of course. Right, but that line, like, USA up in this hole. Trump called me, said I have to beat this Russian. I was like, dude, yes. So they gotta have him.
The fact that Dana, like, there's only one fighter that he said that Trump really, really likes. Like, I'm sure he has others, but he's like, Trump loves Derek Lewis. It's like, well, we know who's gonna be there now.
Oh,
that takes 1 of 5 spots on the pay-per-view.
Next media day, someone's got to ask Derek Lewis, what room would you want to stay in? He's going to be like, I need the Lincoln bedroom. I need that one. Like, I would love for him to answer that question.
John Jones, does he make it onto the White House card?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, man. Because even like when your most hated rival says you have to be on that card, even if he's not on it, it's you kind of got to have him on that card. Now I know, Uncle Dana's playing, putting him in this corner in timeout. Like, I can't trust you to be on this card, whatever. You let me down and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't have the GOAT, or at least one of the GOATs on that card. If Anderson Silva was still active, you think Anderson wouldn't be on that card? He absolutely would be on that card.
Oh yeah.
But you got to have John Jones on there, man. I think he does. Now, who? Honestly, to me, the matchup would have to be Alex Pereira, right? Just main event, make it happen. But I don't know if that would happen. But I need John Jones in there.
I hate to say it today. Like, if you asked me back in early October, I would have told you that it's still too much layup marketing. You know, a heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall, and you have John Jones challenging him 4th of July. I mean, a 5th grader could tell you why that makes sense. Dude, I think, unfortunately, I think Tom Aspinall's eyes, by the time he's ready to go, he's going to miss the timing for the White House. So, first there. 2, I think that it's not as much about do we like John Jones, but do we like Alex Pereira? So I think that one, if he does fight, it would be Alex. That being said, I totally get it. I think here's the thing. When you talk about this and you talk about, Dana had to talk, get Turkey to give the 30 million. I don't think that a guy like Dana White forgives that whole thing with John Jones, because essentially he had to tell Turkey, it's like, I know you gave me 30 million, I got to give it back because the guy's not fighting. Everything we know about mega business people like this, they don't like when that happens. So unless Conor McGregor, you could put anybody against Conor McGregor and I think it'll work. But I think that unless something happens to Conor McGregor, John Jones is not seeing that White House.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to be the ultimate, like, hey, when you commit to this, you say, you commit. Yeah. You say yes, you be there. You can walk, you can fight. I think that's going to be the message sent. So I don't think so. I'll say this. I think that we're going to get to like the dog days of March and we're going to be like, is he good? Are we good? And then we're just going to be like, ladies and gentlemen, the ship has sailed. Yeah. Not going to be there. Now, hey, could Commander-in-Chief get on the phone and be like, you know what? I want this to be once in a lifetime. Get John and Conor on the same event? Maybe. Wow. But outside of that, I think that we feel like we see where this is going to go.
Does Michael Chandler have to be the opponent for Conor?
Let me tell you something. I think if Conor fights somebody who's not Michael Chandler on the White House, I think Michael Chandler in a show Defiance should never talk about UFC ever again. Because I don't think there could be a bigger smack to the face than for him to have gone through everything he's gone through waiting for this guy, and they're just like, we like the Nate Diaz fight more.
Damn.
Like, imagine, like, if it were me, it's like, I'm not going to promote your company anymore. Like, after that, shoot, I would run the cage and just, like, jump over and disqualify the fight at that point. It's like, do that to me? It's like, dude. And look, he has a right to be frustrated. I get it. Like, look, I think that Conor McGregor is a guy with a lot of options at this stage of his career, right? And I think that the being part of a pop culture event like White House is the appeal to him. I don't care what UFC is paying. That's not why he's doing it. Right. He knows that this is that one event that's like, I don't even want to say like a Super Bowl. It's kind of like a presidential election. Like, you remember the people forever. The White House event. I mean, it's tapping into so many different demographics. There's very few events that people know what I do. They don't talk to me about UFC. I have had people still ask me, it's like, so you're going to do the White House event? Like, what's the White House? Are they really doing the White House? Right. And it's like, you don't talk to me about my life here. And you want to ask me about the White House? That's how it's reaching people outside of our bubble. And so I think that's why Conor McGregor's doing it. That's why John Jones wants to be a part of it. So
I have people ask me too, like constantly about, are you going to go to the White House card? I'm like, no. Our lead correspondent's going, well, why aren't you going? And I'm like, I kind of look at Hamzat. Stop. Stop. I won't make it down the airplane, dog. Chill out.
Hey, bro, just a little bit of Bic razors, a little bit of Gillette. I think you'll be fine. It takes you like what, 2 weeks to grow all that back? You'll
Yeah,
be fine.
probably. I probably could. You know what it is though? Like, you ever seen the videos of like little kids like seeing their dad without a beard for the first time and they freak out? I want to avoid traumatizing my 5-year-old, so I'm not going to do that.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah,
but
he might have nightmares until he's 15. Yeah.
Yeah, but
No,
I'm one of those that enjoys those kind of events from the TV. And it's a weird thing for people to hear. Somebody's like, because everyone wants to be at the action, right? Like at the Sphere. Everyone wants to be at the Sphere. Everyone wants to be at the White House card. I'm like, no. I like to take it in as a viewer. Even though I'm working the fights while it's happening, I like to see everything. I like to see the promo packages, the video packages. I like to see Megan O'Leary doing her thing. I like to see, all that kind of stuff. To me, the entire experience involves that. When we go to cover events, I mean, we're moving back and forth between media room and back outside. We're crazy, right?
You have to miss a lot. If you have one station, if you're trying to do two stations, you're missing a lot. That's the catch. I think what a lot of people don't know, like, when you talk to other people, like, oh, I like that event, it was cool. Someone else's experience was very different because they're like, didn't have any idea how bad our network was that night. No one could get anything out there to save their life. Or, for myself, whether you were sitting up front or not. So yeah, that's one thing people don't realize about going live. Two, it's so busy, it's so stressful. I mean, personally, I like the fights Monday night after work, Tuesday. Less pressure. I could just watch it in the commentary, like, oh my God. And you don't have the pressure of, everything needs to be done. We're working a 12-hour, 13-hour until 1 a.m. There's very few things that are fun when you reach numbers, hours like that, right? So, when you get home and you've gotten your sleep and you're back on your couch and you got your food, that's when it's like, yo, you did that. But on Saturday night, it's cool to be there, but you earn it. And I think that's what a lot of people maybe don't realize that want to be in this business or work with these events. So.
I mean, I always tell you guys all the time, when my DMs are filled with people trying to jump on the team and their first thing is like, I want to go cover UFC events. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I know what you want and that's not happening. But I'm always like, to the guys that are kind of serious, I'm like, hey, look, can't get you to the UFC event for a while. You got to work your way up there. You can go cover, some LFAs, maybe some, some small promotions, right? But I always tell them, I'm like, dude, I've never had more, and now this is honest truth. I have never had more fun covering an event than I did the last couple LFAs that I covered, because, you've been to a bunch of those. It's a regional show. It's really relaxed, right? I was able, in Ventura, LFP 215, they brought back Alexander Pantoja. Okay. I'm interviewing this man, and they're doing the national anthem, right? So we're talking. He hears the national anthem. He goes, oh, "Do you?" Because everyone stops. Obviously, stops, takes their hats off, whatever. Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, do you need to stop and do that thing?" I'm like, he goes, "Because I'm Brazilian. I'm not American." I'm like, "Oh, I'm Mexican. We're good." I go, "I'm Mexican. We're good." And he burst out freaking laughing. We finished our interview, went off to do whatever, and then he found me near right before he left. He goes, "I gotta tell you, that was hilarious." And I'm like, he goes, "I just understood what you told me." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, I'm not stopping. I mean, hey, all respect to the troops and everything, man. In America, I love it, but nah, bro, I'm Mexican. We're good." It was the funniest.
I used to work at a stadium, and I'll be very transparent. So obviously once a day, national anthem, you stop, and it was a company thing. You stop. We would have a whole thing. We'd be like, we know it's coming up. It's not always to the dot. This isn't, LA Dodgers World Series, right? But it's like, it's coming up. And we'd always say, it's like, wait, don't walk out with the stuff. It's like, why? And it's like, because if the national anthem starts playing, we're going to have to stop. And all our food's going to get cold on this cart. So we'd be like, wait until the anthem's over. Because every now and then it's like, nah, man, like I'm behind. I got to go get their order. And, so you'd be walking and, it's a good distance. It's a stadium. And you'd walk and then it's like, all right, I got it. And I'll have the food. It's like, and, it'll make it into the room. And then sometimes it's like, oh, say. And then it's like, hey, and you don't look offended. It's the national anthem. But in your mind, you're like, it's like, didn't time that. And it's like, all right, let's wait our 2 minutes now.
Nah, but those smaller shows, man, they're so laid back. And I got to hang out with Richie Miranda. Le'Veon Douglas was at that one too. Just
my God, he's so tall,
dude. No, Le'Veon's the freaking man though. Like I was talking to him, and I interviewed him before, and I show up and he looks at me and goes, "Eddie," and I'm like, "Oh, what's up, Le'Veon?" He goes, "Oh, what's up?" He like remember me. I'm like, "Dude, this is dope." And Congratulations, Leon, little girl. That's amazing.
Nice.
And he was so, dude, and obviously I thought last time I talked to him before the girl was his daughter was born, and he was his eyes lit up just talking about being a father, and I love that. I love that, especially from fighters, because when you're a fighter, that's one thing. When you become a parent and you're still a fighter, that why becomes so much more powerful. We were talking about that off camera, and it's just dope to get to know these guys. I mean, and look, you interviewed a bunch of people, like you've had those connections with fighters where it's just like, and like you have with like a handful of fighters, like I forgot her name, Emery,
KGB. Andrea, obviously.
Andrew, KGB, Ty,
Miranda very well. Huh?
Ty, is her
Ty
name's
Emery.
Ty?
Ty Emery.
Ty Emery. Yeah. Like you get to know these fighters. Is that something like it's just natural for you? You just become friends with these fighters, and suddenly you just have a connection with them.
You know what? Sometimes you just find out that it's personalities and it's timing. You have that timing where you kind of get to see not just like, hey, we're here for an interview. You're one of a dozen people. It's like, no, like a vibe, and we're cool. And, sometimes it just works out. And sometimes you realize like, it's like, hey, we can have our guard down. And it's like, just like anyone, sometimes, some coworkers, our relationship exists at the office. Other coworkers, hey bro, save me a seat later. I want burgers and fries too. It's just the same exact thing. And yeah, like a lot of these people who supported me for a long time. I mean, I think Ty had like one amateur fight when we did our first interview, and it's like she did not have a lot going on, and we've talked about that. I don't think that she would tell you otherwise. But we just kept in touch, and now, she's in a great moment of her career. And yeah, she kind of gives that time, I think, because it's like, hey, I remember when it's like, I didn't have anything going on. I don't think we were even doing clips on social media. It was just on YouTube, and that was it. So, yeah, some of those, I remember Combate Americas, getting to know a bunch of those, because I didn't just get to go interview, like, they let me into like the control room and hang out with production, because they were like, hey, like if you're going to be here, no one else is. Like, you want to hang out backstage where we do the TV stuff and the PR's working, and all the fighters are just lounging with the coaches. And it's like, and a bunch of those men and women went on to like UFC and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, and it's like, we made it, Gregory Robocop, getting to know him, before UFC, before Contender Series, he's cool. Now he moved to Florida, but he still stays in touch. His wife supports the stuff on social media, and it's like, that's something you can't really quantify, and the thing I encourage to other people, I get it. To 99, probably to everybody watching our show, you probably don't care about anything that we do that isn't UFC related. And that's, I get it. I really do. There's only so many hours in the day, right? But, and I get why any up and coming people who want to be in our business want to be at UFC. But I'll tell you right now, like those relationships, those moments, that's a credibility you can't really get, the same way. And, like, look, you got to pay your dues. And so when people, want to be a part of this, want to be a part of this thing we built, I think that they forget that it's like, no, like we didn't just exist when you got, the moment you found out about us. I didn't have UFC credentials when I joined. We didn't have these things when we started the channel. We didn't do this thing. We built it. I went to those events, and I made sure they looked good, and I made sure we were represented well, and I made sure, and you, yourself, Danny Doherty, Jay Anderson, y'all showed up for events. Y'all made sure we were represented well. Y'all did your best to make sure it looks good. And so when somebody new wants to come in here and, try to be a part of it, I do take it personal, because it's like, I know what I did for this to be what it is. I'm not just going to give you the keys to this car today just because it's like, oh, well, I've heard a lot of these things before. That's what I want you to know. This is why I don't just give you the keys. This is why Eddie tells you need to cut your teeth somewhere else. This is why we expect you to practice these things before we let you apply for credentials. And that's all it is. It's not about your character, your love of the sport, none of that. It's just, we know what it took to build it to where it is now. So there's always trepidation about, oh yeah, let me just, hey, go freestyle, kid. Yeah, that's why we don't do that.
Exactly. No, 100%. And dude, Danny Doherty, I forgot about that dude for a second. Now he was one of the coolest people I met this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like he was so dope. I know he's up in I think in New York. I think he was last time I saw.
Yes, amazing broadcaster. I'm sure
Great
he's
guy.
still doing radio. I wish
Yeah.
him the best. A bunch of our friends who've come through for a minute, doing what they doing in life. It's all good. But yeah, like when people talk about Cageside as, oh well, it's this isn't your entry level job. This isn't
Right.
first day at Subway. Like, you want to do that, go apply through one of the many other blogs and do your thing like we did. But if you want to be a part of this, it's because you are, we can trust you to run with the ball.
Right.
If one of us isn't there. And that's what I think a lot of people don't get. They think like, well, if it doesn't go, what do you mean if it doesn't go well? Like, I want to be confident that it probably will before I let you out there.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah, you're spot on that stuff. And we've had a lot of our guys kind of move on to other stuff too. Like, Jake Noker runs, all the a lot of stuff for Home of Fight.
Home of Fight, yep.
Yeah. Alex Behunin, one of our favorite people over at Mania now.
Mania, yep.
And Patrick McCory, one of the youngest guys we ever brought on here, and now he's doing something. I'm not putting his business out there. I'm just telling you right now, he's doing some big stuff coming up when he announces that he will. But it's really cool to see some of these, Jamie Theover at Bloody Elbow, but all these guys like kind of moving on to other things and stuff, and it's cool to keep in touch with those guys too. Like, it's just a lot of fun. To have our friends go out there and do some cool stuff. Really, it really is.
Yeah, and you talk about a lot of guys who worked hard and did their thing, and like, look, they're in different roles that are very different than what they were or would be doing at Cageside,
right.
and that's great for them. That's what makes our business go. Once again, like, I know MMA media, it's just one of those kinds of, it's a whole, race in of itself. So yeah, anyone who's, done their best for the cause, we appreciate them and we miss them.
100%. Anything else you want to touch on, dude?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Talking about John, I think Hamzat's going to have a good year. I think that's up there. Kayla Harrison needs to be at the White House.
Let me ask you about her. Let me ask you about Kayla real quick.
Sure.
How many more times could she make 35? Because that's a rough cut.
Honestly, man, I think this is the last year for Kayla.
Me too.
I think that when you hear her talk, it's like, hey, look, you got paid, and I think she's got other goals and interests in life that are important to her, and she started MMA late. She didn't start this at 21, 22. She kind of got in late 20s, I think. And talk about making the most with the amount of time. So and personally, look, it kind of sucks that we never got that Chris Cyborg fight. We're getting the Amanda fight, and I think it's like, hey, I mean, if you win, if you go on to fight Valentina, if you fight, I don't know, Eileen Perez or something like that, cool. But I think you're talking about making the most with what she was given. And, I think it's been really cool. She really is about that life. She's about her faith and about her family. And, you don't need to step in the cage for those two things. So there you go.
Yeah. I've had people, okay, so I get a lot, because I get a lot of DMs, people trying to join and everything. Yeah. And I've mentored a couple of young guys that aren't on the team, but I'm like, hey, just like, we're not going to bring on just yet. You keep doing what you're doing, and I keep an eye out for your stuff, and I'll send you notes here and there.
I'll tell people, you are way nicer to people. I am like, hey, and I'm not going to name them. You could probably figure it out, but it's like, you're pretty nice to me. And I've told them, because you don't work for me. Hey,
there you go.
You're not my problem.
I don't
have to worry about you.
I got you.
And look, great person, great individual. I like them a lot, honestly. But it's like, hey, man, like, look, respectfully to Eddie, I think I've done way more events than you. There's a reason I take this personal, man.
Yeah,
that's all it is. But all it is.
But I always tell these guys, I'm like, you gotta be. It's just watch Gabriel, how Gabriel moves, and how he works, because it's with purpose. It's never just there. You're always with purpose, and you know what you're doing. So I always tell them, watch him and what he's doing. And I've had guys go, they'll watch your red carpet stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you're a different guy on the red carpet. You really are. It's a lot more fun. Like you're a lot more laid back, a lot more chill. This might be a weird way to say it, a lot less business, more like let's get you to show your personality. I love your red carpet stuff. I love your red carpet stuff. Honestly, when you go to UFCX and when you do the MMA Awards, the red carpet stuff, that's my favorite stuff for yours to watch. What part of that, like when you get into that environment, like how does your mind work, like differ from when you do like fight weeks?
Well, for one, media day, you're 10th in line. You're very far. It's very hard to get that engagement. Mind you, some fighters have told me, no, I'm aware that I recognize you from so many fights out there. So they do see everything. The red carpet to me, one, I think it's so much more engaging and challenging as a broadcaster. So for one, it's like all of that one-on-one FaceTime that you used to get once upon a time, the days of Ariel Helwani at the UFC events and things like that, that doesn't happen anymore. So that one-on-one time with all the people, that only happens at these events. So I do take it more seriously. Two, essentially, we have rules at the UFC Media Day, and we have rules at this place and that room, and with these so-and-so restrictions. When you talk about those red carpets in UFC X, essentially, look, I'm a big Dancing with the Stars guy. Every week they're like the foxtrot and the paso, and then you get to the finale and it's like we get to freestyle. You get 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and you get to do whatever the heck you want with the biggest names in the sport.
Right.
And it's like, oh, let's eat. And that's really what it is to me. And I think that's why I make it a point to have the most fun. I do try to level it up, and I try to make the most out of these things, not just with the big names, which obviously get out there, but there's a lot of people who enjoy this, and it's like you can have something for everyone, and you really do get to play to your fullest ability. They only put a clock on you, which is, it is what it is. Everyone has a spot, and that's fine. But so that's why you see it to me. I do try to have more fun, and I think that's what people want. I hate to say, and it has happened. Go watch Cub Swanson and me at the Hall of Fame. That man was bawling. I don't know that I'm trying to make you cry at the red carpet. We probably can. These are important things we talk about, but I think that, back to the things I like as a viewer and a fan myself, that you could get something quick and engaging and fun in those 2 minutes. I do my best to provide that content because I know that's what I look for. And, if someone says to me, like, the whole reason I like broadcasting and I got into it, you talk about someone who's had a hard day at work and they want to decompress, they want to unwind, boss was on them, school was hard, maybe they got stressing, kids have been really a lot this night, crying a lot, and, do you want to unwind and you really like UFC and you want to see the stuff. If someone tells me you just want to watch some funny stuff and you like our stuff, you like my stuff, and you're watching the games and you're watching we're doing some quips and some fun stuff, that means everything to me because that's what I do when I'm having one of those days. And so I try to keep that in mind. That's what I'm performing for myself, but for those people watching the videos.
There you go, man. Yeah, because I've had guys ask me about like, did you do the red carpet stuff? And I'm like, oh, he lives for that stuff. He loves it. Like, I know, like, every year for like International Fight Week, I already know. My wife already knows I'm gone for at least 2 days that week, and it's always because I know you're gonna go be at USCX doing your thing, and I have no problem going down there to cover whatever's needed. But I always look forward to that stuff when you do for real.
And to be fair, I do tell people it's like this is my event. And I will tell people that to their face. This is my office. This is what I do, and this is how I do it. And I don't mind saying that's who I am. It's very fun for me. And so, thank you anyone who watches that stuff, because it really does mean a lot.
Yeah, it's big time.
And look, I hope good things for the site in 2026. Our best of videos are out there on the page. Helena Cravar. She's featured on our channel right now. So guys, check that out. And man, we're going to be bringing it soon. We have a big event coming up, the kickoff, and hope to represent us well once again.
All right, back to back pay-per-views coming up, folks. A lot of MMA stuff. We got LFA stuff coming up. We got 559 fights, RAF stuff. We cover everything. All right, and we keep it as high level as we can. So make sure you keep it locked to Cageside Press. So hey, appreciate you hanging out with me tonight, man. It's been fun as always, and looking forward to what you do this year, man.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise. Let's get it. Y'all stay on for the ride.
All right, fellas. Everybody, good night. We'll catch you guys on the next one.